Oh boy, did the president step out last night. Yikes, huh? Everyone's freaking out. The whole world's freaking out. Yeah, we got to talk about it here in the rundown, and then we can relax and enjoy Friday night with Steve Smith and the Nakeds. Well, he don't have the whole Nakeds. He's just got himself. I wonder what Steve thinks about all this. I'll drag him into a little political conversation. He's one of my favorites, Steve Smith. The Nakeds need no introduction. They are a tradition here in southern New England, and they kind of broke into the movie business. They got a little bit of a song, all 15 seconds worth of a beautiful new song in Dumb and Dumber 2. I think if you get 15 seconds in a movie, that's really getting it done. The Farrelly brothers honoring Rhode Island by honoring Steve Smith's work. He'll talk about it. I like to talk about the musical trends as well. And I got a big question at the top of that interview for him, so stay tuned. In the meantime, to the rundown we go. We got a lot to cover here. Short little notes on the rundown, but lots of conversation. Bold move last night by the president, you bet. So what is Boehner's next move? Follow my logic. And then coming back home, we got some bottom-up discussion coming from the people, which is always a good thing when it comes to trying to do government the right way. That's a Bill Cosby thing. We may have a nightly Bill Cosby feature as we add women to the problem. Tomorrow night, there is a big game. I'll tell you about it. And of course, we'd like to hear what you think about things on your state of mind. So let us dig in. Yeah, on the radio today on WPRO from noon to 3, the phones were ablaze and everyone was reacting to the President of the United States and his executive order. Here's the headline. The Washington Times calls it amnesty. The President himself said, I'm not offering amnesty. To the matter he was. And you could pick any excerpt from the speech that you wanted. It was surprising to me that the networks decided not to air him in prime time. They may have said, darn it, we should have aired him in prime time because this was such a high interest, albeit political statement by the President. Here's an excerpt that was kind of from the gut.
Our neighbors, our classmates, our friends, they did not come here in search of a free ride or an easy life.
Under the new rules, adults with children born in the U.S. or with permanent legal status can apply for a 3-year work permit. A simplified visa process will allow high-tech workers and foreign students in STEM courses to stay longer. It keeps heightened security on the southern border and focuses on deporting those who are high risk.
Felons, not families. Criminals, not children. Gang members, not a mom who's working hard to provide for her kids.
You know, last night I was watching the President, and in the context of the speech, I kept saying, yeah, that makes sense. Yep, that makes sense. Sure, that makes sense. And then after I was schmoozed for 10 or 12 minutes by the President, I said to myself, but you can't do that, Mr. President. And I've been talking to you about his wiggle room or reach in terms of presidential action, executive order. I didn't expect that it would go this far. And now there's a lot of debate in the country as to whether he's violated constitutional principles here. There are those who say no, and so we go to the next move, and that is what Congress is going to do, and specifically what the Speaker is going to do in leading his House of Representatives, who have not played ball with the President. They say, well, the President's not playing ball with us. Their headline looks like this. Look, while he complains, understandably, that this has damaged the presidency and really tilted the Constitution on an axis, there are those who say, no, not really. This has got nothing to do with the Constitution, like Joe Camerano from Providence College, a political science professor who has been here before, was on the radio with me today on WPRO.
Ultimately, this is a political debate, not one based upon any kind of legal or constitutional problem. Everybody wants their political outcome, and that's what this is about. It's not about Obama being impeached for breaking the law.
Now, the professor admits that he's uncomfortable with this kind of reach by presidents, but he says it's been going on for a long time. He and I had a little squabble about that, and I'll invite the professor in again next week. We'll let you know on Monday when he's going to come in next week, and we'll talk more about this. He's a fascinating guy, really smart guy, but he and I had a little dispute over whether there is some constitutional problem here. But it seems to me that John Boehner has got a big problem too, because he's got some rogue members of the House and more rogue members coming in, and somehow he's got to try to figure it out. He spoke today.
I warned the president over and over that his actions were making it impossible for me to do what he wanted me to do.
House Speaker John Boehner said now Congress will act to block the president.
We will not stand idle as the president undermines the rule of law in our country and places lives at risk.
You know, I'd like to see the Speaker of the House do a little less whining and a little bit more leading himself. But I'll tell you, it seems to me that there are probably 3 or 4 options that Congress has right now, and specifically the House of Representatives. Because remember, the Senate already passed an immigration bill a while back, and the House couldn't get it going on distrust of the president and whether or not we would enforce or build a fence at the border. But here's the thing. It seems to me they can stop funding all this bureaucracy that will have to be built, or just not fund it at all in order to execute the president's plan. 2, they could go to court, much like they've done on executive orders on Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act. 3, they could try to impeach the president, which is a political process. I know a lot of you freak out over that, but it is a political process. I don't think they'll go that far. Or 4, you know what they could do? Their jobs. Despite what you don't like about what the president has done, you can turn the other cheek and say, we're going to create a bill. And in the end, history will remember that the Republicans created a bill. We'll see. It's a day-to-day conversation. Let's bring it back home here and talk about bottom up. Yeah, sometimes government is top down, and that's not good. It ought to be bottom up because the people on the bottom are really the boss. Got a headline here on WPRI.com that talks about Jorge Elorza getting out there and seeing and hearing the people. He was in front of the crowd last night in the first of what is 4 public hearings.
In the Education Committee, we'll be setting priorities and we'll be setting down our plans and our vision for the administration going forward. And we'll take all of your suggestions tonight.
That's good. Excuse me, you caught me playing with Siri. I was playing with Siri, sorry. We like to play with Siri here. Watch, we'll show you. It's Friday night. They said be loose tonight, so we'll play with Siri. We might even do a Siri segment here on this broadcast, but I digress. Jorge Elorza is doing the right thing, it seems to me. He is asking for advice, counsel, ideas before he starts spouting off about what his plan is. Of course, he was supposed to have a plan when he ran, but we didn't hear much of a plan when he ran. It was all about how Buddy Cianci was such a bad guy, and that seemed to work. Our guest last night, Phil West, is a big fan of Jorge Elorza's, and he thinks these meetings will be constructive.
But I think that as they see the result over time, and as he starts these listening meetings, he's got 4 of them scheduled now and has set up the beginning of a transition process. I think that people are going to begin to say, well, I'm going to give him a chance.
Okay, I agree. And I think it's an open canvas for Jorge Elorza, albeit there's some significant financial and other problems in the city. Good idea. Get to one of these remaining 3 or 4 meetings and tell them what you think. Because, you know, when they get going, they hardly ever ask you what you think. What do you think about this? I mentioned this last night, and then I saw it today. Oh, no, not another one. The headline here. Oh, now this woman, my gosh, we are in a situation here where old Bill Cosby, he must have had a Spanish fly thing going on from 1969 to 1985 or something. He must have had a phase in his life where he thought this was what he could do. You've seen the conversation he had with the AP. He don't look so happy there right now. All of a sudden, you look at Bill Cosby in a different way. I don't know how you crisis manage yourself out of this one, but I think we got to start a segment here and start the count. It's heartbreaking. It's a psychological damage to America to see that Bill Cosby might have had this darker side. Ooh, bad. All right, hey, big game coming up tomorrow night in Kingston. URI plays Nebraska. I had a brain spasm there. Nebraska. I was thinking Utah. No, Utah was the last team that was in the top 25 that was beaten at the Ryan Center back in 1998. You do the math on 16 years of no top 25 wins at home for URI. This year they are geared up with a great team, and maybe we'll see you down there. Tickets are moving fast, so if you can get up in the morning and make a purchase, you ought to. It'd be great to have a big crowd, because you know what? Big crowds help home games. You know, they help home teams win. Of course, we're all about PC here too, and Brown and Bryant, but this is probably the biggest game URI's had in a long, long time, and though it comes early in the season, I say get out there. Of course, you know, I'm biased. I am the PA guy down there, and I enjoy my role, but it's about the team, and it's about the program, and it's about feeling good, so try to get a ticket. Ought to be a big event. Did PC win last night? Yes. Hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let me ask Siri. Did PC win last night?
Okay, check it out.
I got the Wikipedia. Here, let me try that again. I got to say Providence College. Oh, that's right. Did Providence College win last night, Siri?
Looking.
Well, third time's the charm.
Here's what I found on the web for which college win last night.
No. Well, third time's the charm. Speak clearly.
Okay. Third time's a charm, just says. Speak clearly. Did Providence College win last night?
Providence crushed Navy by a score of 88-51 yesterday.
Sometimes we act like children on this show. Your state of mind? I don't care what you think, to be honest with you. 228-1886 is the phone number. Email me. You know how to get in touch, for crying out loud. Look at this guy's Facebook post. You know what? The heck with him. Way too much. Am I supposed to read that whole thing?
Just make fun of the fact that he said lamestream media.
What did he say? Oh, yes, he used the term lamestream media, just says. What is this, the Rush Limbaugh program, for crying out loud? When you make Limbaugh references on my Facebook page, Tom, you're disqualified. I end up talking to Siri. Get out of here. Steve Smith, without the nakeds, next. All right, I had a little debate with Jess and Rox about the application of this. Roll this tape here. All right. Okay. Now, by the way, you're not wearing the same shirt, are you?
No.
I don't think so. What year was this, by the way, for the road show?
That was 2009.
Yeah, it feels like a 5-year archive. So,
that's when we came out on Family Guy.
right, so this was a theme of Family Guy, was it not?
No, this was on the 6th-season DVD of Family Guy. We were supposed to be on one of the shows. We didn't get on the show, so they put a montage of clips together of Peter Griffin.
But I'm Huge was, I don't get it. See, I don't watch Family Guy. but
You gotta like the.
I'm Huge and the Chicks Go Wild.
I'm Huge and the Babes Go Wild.
The Babes Go Wild.
Right.
There's all sorts of connotations.
Well,
to that.
the connotation is that the word huge can mean anything.
Anything.
Like the weather was huge today.
Correct.
How you feeling? I'm feeling huge.
Right.
You know.
Or you are huge. The Steve Smith and Nakeds
the
have always
Nakeds are
been
huge,
huge
yeah.
around here. But so did that song end up in Family Guy?
It ended up on the 6th-season DVD. They were going to put it in a
But
segment.
was it on television?
No, it wasn't on television.
Oh, okay.
They were going to write an episode of Quagmire because he's the sexual pervert on the show. Okay, you don't watch
say
the
that
show.
on
Can I say that?
television?
I think so.
You just did.
But
Or just say
you
Bill
don't
Cosby.
watch the show.
Or just say Bill Cosby.
It's Bill Cosby.
I'm sorry.
That's a heartbreaker.
Oh, my God. Isn't that a heartbreak?
He was one of my all-time favorites. growing up.
He's a cultural icon that I never thought
No.
could
I used
come
to
off
watch
the
him on
pedestal.
I Spy.
I know.
That's how old I am.
You are. You are.
But I'm
You are.
huge.
And the Babes Go Wild.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Oh, what the heck with it. Put this thing up on the screen here. This is the newest thing. I want to bring Steve over.
This is
and
huge.
congratulate him. This is huge.
This
and the
is a
Babes do
huge-
go wild.
this is huge.
You know what? I said to my wife last night, you want to go see Dumb and Dumber 2? And we
Oh,
both
my
agreed
God.
that we got to rent Dumb and Dumber the first before
No, you
we
don't
go
have
see.
to.
You don't?
You
They
don't have to see the
because
first
they're not connected?
They're not connected at all. It's the gags are connected, but the whole thing is it's 20 years later, and I'm telling you, the first one was good, but the second one is better. And the gags are better, the lines are better. You're going to have to watch this movie like 5 times before you get all the lines. It's just hilarious, you know.
This kind of comedy is really subjective. I've read some bad reviews. I've read some great reviews.
Well-
Slapstick comedy in the modern era is different.
Yeah, it is different, but I'm a big fan of Jerry Lewis. Okay, when we play out at night, if we're playing outside and the wind's blowing this way, we call it the Elvis wind because your hair's blowing back. When the wind's blowing this way, we call it the Jerry Lewis wind because your hair's like falling in your face. But the comedy in this movie has it all, and it has. There's one scene where I completely lost it, and I couldn't get it back together because it was so funny. I mean, just crying, laughing.
Really?
And I couldn't, and I missed the scene because I was laughing.
And you
so
got your song, a brand new song,
Yes, our song is in one of the scenes.
and it's called.
It's called Blue Eyes Don't.
You saw it on the
Yes.
picture there,
And it was written by Nels Lofgren from the E Street Band.
and it actually feels like a pretty poignant song.
It is, and when you see
And
the
it,
scene,
and it has no applicability
no,
to the scene,
no,
right?
No, you're gonna have a whole new meaning of Blue Eyes Don't when you see the scene it's in, and the bad thing about it is that the song starts and all the band's like, oh yeah, here it comes, and then when the punch comes, everybody's laughing, so you don't even hear the rest of it. It's gone. You know, the laughter just buries it. So you're gonna have to watch the movie and try not to laugh when the scene comes to hear the song.
Oh, you're going to have to buy the song.
Oh yeah, you're
Because
gonna have to buy it.
you can buy it. I don't know how you buy music these days. How do you buy music in
It-
2014?
Right now, we're in the middle of the process of getting Sony, who put our Huge distribution out for Huge. They're working on getting us on iTunes and releasing just that song as a digital download. You can download anything from the internet now. I mean, songs cost anywhere
Does
from
anybody go to a record store anymore?
No, record stores are a thing of the past. Blockbuster's a thing of the past.
I know.
You
It's
know,
amazing.
just- yeah, no, you go online and buy your stuff now.
But
But you
you
can
c-
also buy the product.
It seems like a very hard business to crack into the music business. You don't have to worry about that because you cracked into it a long, long time ago. But you can get a big hit, go viral real quick.
Yes, you
right?
can. Yeah, and that's what happened to the Huge video. Someone took our Huge video and put it on YouTube. And the Family Guy Huge video and put it on YouTube. It's got like 400,000 hits, you know? So then people will look and say, oh, how do I find these guys, you know?
Right.
And then they go to your website or in that case, we were on Sony Red Music, which is an affiliate of Sony, and they put it up on the web. And then people would go and download just Huge, or they can go download the whole CD, or you can order it and get the actual copy.
Speaking of finding these guys, you got to know how to find these guys. I'll tell you when we come back. Stay with us, or he will. Yeah, just some of the big timeiness that Steve Smith and the Nakeds run across from time to time. God rest him.
Unbelievable.
Clarence Clemens. Can't believe he's gone.
We had 5 shows with him this summer. He passed away, and I had talked to him 5 days before he passed away. He had just done American Idol with Lady Gaga. Called me the next day because he was having problems, and he said he was gonna. I thought he wanted to cancel the shows, but he was
Well, you
just-
brought him into my studio.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I had a great time, and that was.
that
you
was
know,
the last summer. Yeah.
There are certain. Look, I've interviewed a lot of big time people, but there are certain people that you just go, oh, I'd give my, you know what to, and he was one of them.
Yeah.
What a beautiful man.
Unbelievable.
I mean, soft-spoken, no ego.
Nope.
Self-deprecating. His book is phenomenal.
His book is phenomenal. I had a meeting with, I went to the funeral and I got a chance to talk to Bruce. And I pulled him aside and I said, you know, I'd like to thank you for, you know, sharing Clarence with me. And I said, he was an unbelievable person because he would step down from the world stage, touring stadiums with Bruce Springsteen, and get off the world touring, get on a bus with 12 sweaty old men and drive around Rhode Island and the East Coast and go back to the clubs.
You
and
love
just
music and musicians.
And that's what Bruce said. He said, Clarence is incredible because when I get off tour, I want to lay on the couch and recharge my batteries. Clarence just wants to keep going.
Well, he's missed by so
Oh,
many fans. But I mean, all this time that you've been around, I mean, you're still playing. You got a thing at
Yeah.
CCRI tonight, probably as we speak. TheNakeds.com is the website where you can see your schedule.
TheNakeds.com,
But you're still
yeah.
banging out how many shows
We
a month or a
play.
year right
we
now.
we play every Friday and Saturday night, unless nobody wants us. But this summertime we were averaging 4 and 5 nights a week. So it's big. You know, we're still doing very well. Thank God we're still doing very well. You know, we lost Clarence, which is a big thing, and we did some great shows with him, but we still carry on the spirit. You know, we're still there. You know, we're not recharging our batteries. We're out there playing them.
You don't get tired.
No, well, yeah, we
Well,
all
you
get tired.
You get tired.
Yeah, but
You don't get tired of it.
I don't get tired of entertaining people. I don't get tired of entertaining. I get tired of
Thing.
the everything, you know,
The
leading
work.
up to it. The before and after. But the entertaining part will never die. You know, it'll never die in me. And we just keep pushing along. You know, and this is right up our alley. This Dumb and Dumber thing, because we're all character. My whole band's a bunch of characters. You know, we have a ball, and you have to find the humor in everything.
Right.
To keep pushing. You know.
Right. So make sure you go see the Fairley Brothers Dumb and Dumber 2 and know that Steve Smith and the team have 15 seconds in there.
It's 40 seconds.
Oh, it's 40
Yeah,
seconds.
But it's
I'm
15
sorry. That you can
seconds when they
hear.
start laughing.
Oh, okay.
When people start laughing.
All right, but soon you'll be able to go on YouTunes and find the song.
Oh yeah, it'll be out there. We're just finalizing that this week.
All right, thenakeds.com. You know where to find them. Thanks, bud.
Any bar.
Stay with us. Any bar. Well, you know, you've been around a while when you have to say goodbye to someone who's been on your show. I'm losing Rox tonight. It's our last show. She's moving to her dream job and dream home, and she's leaving us. And so we want to say to Roxanne, thank you, dear. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
She was my original technical person on the show, and now all I have is Jess. See you next week.